Well, hello. How's everyone doing in this heat wave? This is something else, eh? If you guys are from around here, we're probably all tucked in our houses with our air conditioning on, just like winter time. I'm just going to read comments here. So we've got Judith, who didn't have hydro yesterday from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Well, I was a little nervous about doing a live today because part of the area where I live was out of power, and they were talking about severe thunderstorms this afternoon too. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to just take a chance. So I'm glad you have your AC back. Someone else was also without electricity for 10 hours yesterday. Yes. So when I had to run a couple of errands this morning, and I went on my bike because parking in my little town downtown is kind of crazy. I had to go to the post office. And so I was riding my bike, and the debris on the road from branches and stuff from yesterday's little storm, crazy. There's trees down, there's power lines down, there's all kinds of great things happening. So yes, but so far today we're okay. We have not lost power. It's still sunny out here, but very hot. Yes, my daughter is camping right now with 3 little kids. No, thank you. But I'm happy to be here in my air-conditioned craft room, and I'm excited to show new product. This is the first live I've done this week. It has been so busy. I was going to do one yesterday, but it was Canada Day, and this week is kind of all messed up because some people took Monday off. Some people are taking Friday off. Some people took yesterday off. So I was super busy working around here and stuff. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to leave the live till today. So here I am. How's everyone doing? Good? Can anyone guess what we're looking at right here on the screen? It's a new toy. I'm very excited about it. We've had a lot of people emailing and asking about electronic die cut machines. So I was on a mission to get my account set up with Anna Griffin because, yes, I wanted to get the Anna Griffin electronic die cutting machine. This one is the Elite Mini. So it has just been redesigned. They had a mini, now they have an Elite Mini. Yes, Michelle, I did see your order. I didn't speak a word about it, and then all of a sudden, bam, there was an order, and I'm like, well, somebody's watching. I have wanted one of these machines for a very long time. Now, I'm not going to lie, they come at a bit of a price, but in my opinion, in the very short time that I've been using mine, it is well worth it. But wow, it's awesome. So we're just going to talk just quickly about it. I have not played with it too much. It is an electronic machine. It is faster and quieter than the older model. I was blown away with how quiet it was. So I can tell you that sometimes I do die cutting in my family room in the evening, and my husband's trying to watch TV, and he's always complaining that he has to turn up the sound. He will not have to turn up the sound. It's very quiet. So I just cut out a piece of cardboard. This is just cardboard from the front of the box, just so I could have something on the screen when I started my video. But I will bring, I'll bring my machine on just so you can kind of see it. It's going to fill up the screen just because of the way I have my camera zoomed in, and I don't want to mess around with that because it'll mess up the rest of the video. But I will show you a few components. So this is the plates. So they have longer plates. My understanding is that plates are longer than the original machine. But if I'm misspeaking, I'm sorry. I just, read a few things and whatever. But so the sandwich is a clear plate, a magnetic mat, and then another clear plate. We'll do all your die cutting. So it's not complicated. It's very easy. And I got to say, this magnetic plate, which I will be demonstrating a little further into my video. Wow. I'm so impressed. I will no longer require any tape to tape my dies down. They're going to stay exactly where I put them, which is really amazing. And I'm quite happy about that. So let's bring the machine over. Now mine is plugged in, so I think I can reach. So here is my baby. The opening is as wide as these cutting plates here. So let me just measure that for you. So I was a bit nervous because I want to use this for almost all of my die cutting. I don't want to be flipping back and forth from machines often. So the opening is about 5 1/8. That's how wide the plates are. So what that means is all of your standard dies are going to go through this machine. I'm just grabbing a set of nesting dies here because I want to show you. Let me grab a card base too. Where's my card base? It's right here. So I use my die cutting machine mainly for card making. So all of my dies are sort of that size. I have the odd die that like makes, you know, the like an interactive card or like an envelope or something like that. Yeah, yours is full size. You know, and Melissa, it's funny because I never used to get why people would want those full size machines because like who has dies that big? But the nice thing is if you do have a full size machine, you can use the smaller plates in a larger machine. The rollers will pull them through as well. So that is cool. But for myself personally, I don't see a requirement for a larger machine. Like I said, most of my dies, well, 99% of my dies are going to go through this machine. The only thing I, have is just the odd thing and my embossing folders and things. I'll still use my Platinum 6 for that. And I don't mind cranking once in a while, but it's so nice to just put those plates through and let the machine do the work for you. So I'm just going to show you. So here is an A2 size card. So if you're looking at a set of dies that would fit onto that, let's say like some sort of nesting rectangle. So this one takes up almost the whole front of the card. You can see you're going to have no problems getting all of those dies through there. Because a lot of mini machines, you're kind of restricted. Like most of your dies will go through, but then when you get into things like this, they don't fit. So you're always having to flip back and forth between machines. But this one will do most of your work for you. It, like I said, just those very odd situations that come up where you might have an oversized die that takes up like the full 6-inch width of, a Platinum 6 or something like that. But they are far and few between. I started with the Gemini 4 years ago, and the Empress is so much better. Oh my gosh. It totally is. So I know there's quite a few influencers. I know Jennifer McGuire uses one. There are many others that use the Empress, and I've always wanted to try one. And I've been trying to set up an account with Anna Griffin for a while, and I don't know what they were doing. But anyways, they finally sorted things out, and we are set up. So here we are. Now, I will say the price that's up on our online store is our introductory price. My margins are very, very tight on this machine. So in other words, if the exchange rates do funny things, or we notice that our fees coming across the border are increasing, I don't have a lot of cushion to absorb. So like we don't adjust our pricing on everything else every time we get a shipment across the border. We can absorb certain costs and it all kind of works itself out. But these machines are not the case. So I will say the price that is showing right now is for the inventory we have in stock. It may change depending on what happens the next time we order. So that's what I know. But anyways, so I'm just going to, and I mean, I don't know how well the sound will actually pick up on here, but I'm going to turn the machine on. There's the power button. So all these little buttons light up. This is your forward button and this is your reverse button. So in order to make the machine work, like you can't just put your plates in there and it doesn't just start up. You have to actually get the rollers going. So you push this button and then you're going to feed your sandwich in, and now the rollers are going to grab it and pull it through. So can you hear anything? Tell me in the comments. It is so quiet. So there it's out the other side. And then the rollers shut off. So now it's just sitting there, power on, ready for me for the next time I want to do it. I'll just push that power button, or no, that forward button, and then the rollers will start up and off we go. So it is extremely quiet. I find the speed is very good. I mean, you don't want it to go through really fast, because you want to make sure that, you know, it's going to go through nicely. Yeah, very quiet, right? It's so, so quiet. So I'm super impressed. Now, it does come with a base, and it's a turntable. So when you put your machine on this, it doesn't just freely spin around, which I like, because I don't want to be fighting with my machine all the time when I'm trying to put stuff through it, that it's spinning around on me. But it does turn when you turn it. So in other words, if you've got it placed somewhere and you need to turn it because the plates are going to go in the front, out the back, then it's easily maneuvered on that little turntable. So I like that option too. The machine just rests on it, so you don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it's a great little accent. So we do have the Empress Elite Mini in stock, ready to go right now. So you can go and check that out if you want, maybe after the video, because you're going to want to see all the fun things I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to actually use it in the video here, because I'm going to do a little demo. I will be using it like just to run a plate through. It's not anything fancy. So, but you will get to see it again. Oh, Carrie, I'm having trouble with my Gemini Junior and the sandwiches for 3D embossing folders. How is this one with embossing folders? I have no idea, Carrie. Inside my manual that I looked at, there was no sandwich for embossing folders. I have not researched yet if you can run embossing folders through here. And maybe some of the other ladies who already have one can chime in and let me know. I love how the Platinum 6 operates with embossing folders, because there's several sandwiches depending on the type of embossing folder you're using, and I get such great results that I would probably just turn to my Platinum 6, because it's right on my desk beside me, so it's easy to access for me. Every machine will be different with embossing folders. They'll be different with dies too. And the problem with the Gemini Junior is that we can't get plates or anything for it anymore. There's a lot of controversy over that. So unfortunately, it's not something we can support anymore. That was our kind of go-to electronic machine. But now we are very happy to know that we can get this Empress and have a steady, reliable machine that we can recommend. And I mean, I'm telling you, ladies, this is top of the line. It's like driving a Porsche versus a winter beater car. It's just so nice. So use your plate, the magnetic plate, and then the embossing folder, no top plate. Okay. Is the Platinum 6 electric? No, it is not. And that is why, and you know what, that like, Carrie, you're you know, really bringing up the issue. I'm just going to put this right up on the screen, because this is why so many people are asking for electronic machines. Either, number one, you do a lot of die cutting and it just becomes a pain to constantly be cranking things through all the time. But people have problems with their hands, with their shoulders. I mean, we're an aging population. So it's kind of a workout sometimes when you're when you're doing it all the time. So I understand that. And yeah, I mean, again, you know, everybody has a budget that they have to work within. This is definitely a top of the line electronic machine. It's a wonderful experience when you're working with it. I love the features that it has and the room that it gives you to put things through. So definitely check it out if it's something you're interested in. And I would have done a little bit more research about the embossing folders, but Melissa says you just use your base plate, the magnetic plate, and then the embossing folder, no top plate. Now, again, Melissa, I'm just going to ask, because you're on here and you have some experience with the machine. By no means are we going to take Melissa's advice to heart. We're going to do the research first, but the embossing folders vary in thickness. So how can that sandwich work for everything? That's the thing. Yeah. So I would be nervous without doing some research first to find out, because not all embossing folders are created equal, and not all dies are created equal either. Different companies use different types of metal and thicknesses of metal, so they go through differently. So there is a lot to learn and a lot to know. And I will be sharing more information as I dive into it as well. Oh, and then you may need to use the metal shim. Yeah. So, we'll try some things. We'll talk about some things. Again, you can always email your questions. YouTube and Google are our friends, but again, just a word of caution, anybody can make a YouTube video. So like your neighbor across the street who knows nothing about crafting can make a YouTube video. So just because it says it on YouTube does not mean it is, the word on the street. So just be cautious when you are doing your research that you're getting reputable information. That's the good thing. I mean, I don't know everything either, but I'm the first person to say I don't know. So I try not to steer people in the wrong direction. So I don't know all there is to know about embossing folders and the machine yet, but I will experiment, find out, learn. Yes, you watched Jennifer McGuire and trusted her. She does know a lot, and it is her job. She does get paid by these companies to showcase their products and all that sort of stuff too. So she is a pretty reputable source for sure. But anyways, and you can also reach out to the manufacturer and get it right from the horse's mouth too. So there's always that. Okay, so that was that. Let's move on to new things. So we are going to first talk about some new products from Altenew. I'm going to start with this stuff. So we have brought in some watercolor brushes. There are a lot of new techniques out there where people are using watercolors. There are some new stamp sets coming from Spellbinders that use watercolor. So we thought, you know what, it's time that we bring in some good quality tools that people can use if they are into watercoloring. I personally have not had a lot of experience with watercolor, but I do appreciate really good tools. And I also will never say never, because as the trends evolve and move forward, sometimes we have to try new things, and who knows, I might start watercoloring. But Altenew has wonderful products. We really, really love the quality of their products, and we brought in a couple of brush sets from them. We've been bringing in, we had a watercolor palette that disappeared very quickly. So, obviously there's interest out there. So we're going to, bring in some different things. And if there's things that you're looking for that you don't see, always reach out to us. Just let us know. And we're happy to bring those in and source them for you. But this is a really nice fine watercolor brushes. And you can see they always have numbers on their brushes. So they're listed at the top there. And you can see that they have really nice handles for holding. And look how fine the tips are. So when you want to do nice detailed work with your watercolors, it's important to have the tools, right? So that's one set. And then this one here, they're called water brushes. So artist watercolor brush set of 5. But look at this fancy case that it comes in. So you just pop this open, and in here, look at this. So again, they're all numbered, and they just slip inside this case here. And these little things come off, and there is your watercolor tip. Okay. So nice, even pointed brushes. And there's different sizes in here. So they've got lots of options. Like, look at this one. Now, when you get these brushes, the tips are going to be really hard. I can't even get this out. There we go. The tips are going to be hard. I'm not going to break that seal. But again, this is a great brush for nice big areas, backgrounds. Isn't this cool? See, Christina likes to watercolor, so maybe she'll be our watercolor demo person. But this is a really nice set, and they're all pretty reasonably priced too. I mean, obviously there's much more expensive sets out there, but I think for the type of crafters that we all are, these are really nice. And it does come in this nice little case, so it would keep everything all nice and neat for you. So I'll put that back in the packaging for the person that buys this, so that they'll never know I was in it. But we do have 2 new sets of watercolor brushes. And then along with the watercolor brushes, we have brought in some really nice watercolor paper. So we've got 2 different kinds here. So let's just, they're both from Prism Studios, which is an in-house company from one of our distributors. And we sell quite a few products from them. And this is a pad. that is 140-pound weight watercolor paper. Okay, it's a pad. It does have texture on the front. A lot of watercolor papers do. It's textured all the way through, so it's even got texture on the back. But this is a 5.5 by 8.5 pad. So it gives you a large surface to work with. So if you want to do techniques and then be able to cut your bases down or your fronts down when you're done, it's awesome. But you can also cut it in half, and that gets you two 4.25 by 5.5 pieces, which is the exact size of a card front for an A2 size card. So I like that option. And then if you want to go bigger, we also have a 9 by 12. And that's also 140-pound cardstock. So nice heavyweight, will handle all of your watercolor techniques very easily. So those are that set. And then we have the ones that look like this. And this is 100% cotton watercolor paper. Okay. So this is ideal for wet on wet techniques and heavy washes. 140-pound. You get 20 sheets in a pad and same sizes as the other ones. So you get the 5.5 by 8.5 or the 9 by 12 pad. So the 9 by 12 one has 15 sheets in it. This one has 20. And I didn't tell you before, this one here has 20. And this says ideal for wet media like watercolors, acrylics, and oils. So this one here can handle a little more water. Okay. So those are also available. So if you're looking to get into watercolor or you need some good watercolor paper, we have that available now as well. And then we are going to talk about this. We carry a few different pastes from Altenew. This is their new foil. Well, I don't know if it's new. I shouldn't say that. New to us, their foil relief paste. So their relief pastes are so nice. They're smooth and creamy like butter. And they're used to drag through stencils to do different techniques with. And this will allow you to drag this paste through your stencil and then be able to do foiling techniques with them. So we now have that foil paste available. We've had it a couple of times and sold out already before I even had a chance to talk about it. So this time I'm going to talk about it before it sells out. So that is available from Altenew. And if you've used any of their other pastes, you know how awesome they are. And then as promised, we just received our shipment of enamel dots from Altenew. Now, I said that I was going to do some videos with some techniques with, what are these called? Enamel dots. I have not got to it yet. Summer is a very busy time. I try to do as much as I can, and I have such good intentions. So I will work on projects and videos. It might not be full on like cards from start to finish, but we might break down a card and work on the techniques live or in a pre-recorded video. But enamel dots are such a great thing to have in your stash. So we've got a whole bunch of colors. So I'm going to run through them really quickly just to show you. And oh, look, so later on I'm doing a demo, and this is the color I used for my stamping. Look at that. It matches these perfectly. So this is called Cherry Blossom. Now, all these packs have a variety of colors and a variety of sizes. So you'll notice they'll go from the lightest color on this side over to the darkest color. And it looks like there's 4 different colors in each pack. So there's like a gradient from light to dark. And then also you get a few shapes on the side there. So that's kind of nice too. So this is Cherry Blossom. This is Warm and Cozy. Again, light to dark. And then we've got shades of purple. We've got Green Meadow. Aren't they beautiful colors? Then we have our essentials, black and white. We have Green Valley. So that's a very different green palette than this one. So that's Green Meadow, that's Green Valley. And then we've got Summer Afternoon. Excuse me. We've got Warm Gray, because your neutrals are very, very important. So there's your warm gray and there's your black and white. And then, of course, more neutrals. We've got Coffee Break. So those nice creamy colors all the way to the nice chocolate brown. And then we have Deep Blue Seas. We have Cool Summer Nights. So that's your blues. That's your teals. Here's another green, because green is not just green. Let's just find the other one I had out here. See, so we've got this one and this one. So there's Green Meadow, Green Valley, and this is Green Fields. So this looks like black, but it's very dark green. And then we have Red Cosmos. So that's looking a lot like Christmas right there. And then we have Seashore. Some more nice teals. So those differ a little bit from the other ones. So this was the Cool Summer Night. This is the Seashore. So this one is a little more green. This one is definitely a little more on the teal side. And then you've got your blues. And then, of course, we've got the Crystal Clear. So we've got a nice sampling of all your color families available in Enamel Dots. And they are larger packages. So let me just grab a standard size, what I'll call a standard size Enamel Dot package, which would be, I'm trying to look for like Pink and Main or Simple Stories. Here we go. There's Pink and Main. So here is a regular package. And that is the Altenew one. So 163 different pieces on this. So they're nice large size. The Enamel Dots are not large. They're your standard small, medium, and large, but you get lots of them, which is great. So those are all available to order now. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, leave these till the end. We're going to talk about some reorders and some new stock. So the first, oops, we don't need the elastic on there. This is a restock. This is the Pegboard Canvas cover die. So this is a die that puts holes in your paper that can be just used for added texture or effects, but it can also be used for stitching. Now, I know some of you, that word stitching is scary. You go, ew, who wants to do that? But there are a lot of us that do like to stitch, and that is a full cover plate. So that does the whole front of your card, which is awesome because it gives you lots of room to stitch. So I'm going to pull up a slideshow here. I think I went out of order. Let me just see. Which one's this? Huh, no, I didn't. Okay. So, whoops, sorry. Remove that. Add to stage. There we go. So this is an example of how to use this cover plate. So you don't have to poke out all the holes, and it gives you a very cool effect. So I love this idea. I mean, I never would have thought of it myself, but I've seen quite a few cards done like this, and I'm like, that's very interesting. Because, you know, you'll run it through your die cut machine, and then some of the holes will pop out, but not all of them, and you end up having to poke them all out. Well, guess what? You don't have to. You can make kind of a background design pattern on there, which I think is really cool. So you don't have to poke them all out. And then this shows stitching on some of the background, which is very cool. Now, we were talking about Jennifer McGuire before. She does a lot of stitching on backgrounds. She has a lot of anxiety, and it helps her with her anxiety, and she finds it very relaxing. So you can take like small cross stitch patterns and you can transform them onto the fronts of cards. I know that Lawn Fawn has a lot of patterns you can download for free where they've made little designs and stuff with that. And then if you're really good, you can just make your own designs with them too. So it's a very flexible cover die. You can do a lot of things with it. Like I said, you can stitch the whole background, just parts of it. You can bring in other stamps and dies that you might have and work with this project. And I do love the idea that, again, here, you know, you can bring in sentiments and icons and critters and all kinds of things and kind of create backgrounds that way too. So it's a really fun set. We've had it in 3 or 4 times now, and it keeps selling out. So there's got to be people out there that love it. And then we did restock a bunch of our zero waste panels. So this one is the little flowers, fun little flowers. Now, I've talked about zero waste panels in the past. You can use this piece. So once you run it through your die cut machine and all the pieces are popped out, you can use that. You can use all the popped out pieces. And then you can also reinsert the pieces back in like a puzzle. and create backgrounds that way. So they're very, very versatile and a lot of fun to play with. So that's the fun little flowers. Then we have the floral cover die. So again, you can see where you can just take all the pieces that pop out and create a really nice floral. But then you can also use the pieces separately as well. And then this is the wildflower meadow die. We might have a few others in stock already, but these are the ones that just arrived. So that's what I'm going to show you there. And then this is a really cool set. So this is a bundle. It's called One Go. And we're going to talk about One Go a little bit further when I'm done showing you these products, because we just got a whole grouping of products that do this One Go thing. So what it is it's one stamp and one die. So you stamp once and then you have a die that's connected. All these pieces are connected. It lays right over top of your stamped image and then you can cut it out. So it's not a new concept. Tailored Expressions has several sets that are like that, as do other manufacturers. But Altenew calls that system for them, they call it One Go. So here's a card showing you, if you cut it out many times with different colors, you can use your sentiment strips as, you know, part of your focal point on your card, or you can just use them as sentiment strips on their own. So it's a great little set. It says, "Happy birthday. You are enough. I admire you. Have a great day. Congratulations. And I love you infinity." Now, stamp set aside, this is also very cool to have in your stash. You can run this through just on its own, and then all these little banner pieces are going to pop out, and you can use them with other sentiment sets that you might have. As long as they fit on there, go for it, right? So it's a really nice little set to have. I use these a lot. I'll just, you know, cut out a bunch of them. Not this particular set. In general, these kinds of sets, I'll cut out a bunch of them and just have them already to go. And then I might pull a stamp set out and say, "Oh, does it fit on this banner?" Yes, it does. Boom, stamp it, done. So I love these. And I love that each one of them is different. You're not getting a whole bunch of the same. You're getting all different ones, which is really cool. And there is a tag in there, which is kind of fun. So that is a bundle, and it's called One Go Words and Banners Sentiment Set. So I love that. And then this is called Ocean Windows. So I'm just going to pop to the slide here. So the cool thing about this die, it's a layering die. See how you've got all kinds of different levels? You can use 1, 2, or all of them together. So the sample that I'm showing here is just using one layer, the one with the little holes in it there. And they've created kind of a pond or whatever look. And again, it's called the ocean window. So you think water, but these shapes can be used for lots of different things. But when you layer them all up, it gives you a really dimensional look, which is quite nice. And that's what it looks like when you layer a few layers together. So you switch up your colors of cardstock, and they get narrower as they get towards the middle. And it gives you a really nice sort of tunnel kind of look. So like you're looking down into the water, which is really nice. And right now, many of the manufacturers are coming out with sort of like under the sea kind of releases. But this one I would say is a little bit more mature. So a lot of the pieces will mix and match nicely with other releases, whether they're cutesy or whether they're mature. But I did like that this one was a little bit more mature looking. And the other thing that they came out with is this lily pad die. So this one is, pond lilies. So you get these beautiful flowers, and then you also get the lily pads. So you can use them on their own, or as you saw in some of the previous slides, you can use them along with that window die that we showed. So they're very pretty. And again, those florals can be used separate from the lily pads as just a really beautiful floral that you can color up any color scheme you want. My favorite thing from this release is this. This is a 3D embossing folder and stencil combo. So you can use the stencil on its own. You can use the embossing folder on its own, but you can pair them together as well. So you can stencil out your whole scene and then slip it into the embossing folder, and it will create all of this texture and dimension from your design. So if you want something very subtle, you can use the embossing folder on its own, just on your cardstock. It'll raise it up and show you that pattern, but there's not a lot of color or anything with it. But then you can use the stencils to work together. And Christina did a video last week showing different techniques with embossing folders. And there's one in particular with embossing folders and stencils, where you do a watercolor wash on the back and then you stencil over top of it and then you add some detail. I think you could create some very cool effects using that technique with this set. So that is the whole scene on a card, but it's nice to kind of offset the scene as well and just have it kind of off to the side, leaving room for other things. And I know that in previous releases from Tailored Expressions and from Lawn Fawn, you can introduce some really cool critters with this scene as well. And I think you could come up with some pretty great ideas. But I love this. I think it's really, really cool. And I definitely don't have anything like this in my stash. And I know it would complement other products that I have. So I love that. And then we have the Under the Sea Jamboree stencil. And you can see that it just creates this beautiful coral. And you can start right from the ocean floor, so the bottom of your card, and work up. You can create masked off areas. You can do a whole background. And there's that, what's it called? The ocean window, creating that shape there. And then the die cut pieces are from this set here, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is a zero waste panel called Beneath the Blue. So that's where those are coming from. So you can create lots of nice layers. And then this stencil here is called Flourishing Coral. And I believe this is the last one we have. But again, if you're doing those kind of under the water scenes, it would be really cool. And it's also really cool if you go someplace really tropical for a holiday, you could create a little scene on your scrapbook layout using the stencils and the die cuts and so on, and kind of create your own embellishments, which is really neat. So I love those options. And then this is the zero waste panel for Beneath the Blue. So that creates this panel here. And then all of those things pop out. So you've got like jellyfish and starfish, coral and rocks and all kinds of great things. So that is, this card sample here shows you that you can use this panel once you pop everything out as your background. And then you can layer the die cuts on top. You don't necessarily have to put them back in the holes that they came out of, but you can create scenes on top of that. And I love how this one is done. I believe, oh, I can't remember the lady's name. She used to do a lot of designing for Pink Fresh. She's kind of left there and gone out on her own. It's escaping me, but I believe this is her design. And then here's another example where you can use all those pieces that pop out of here to create scenes. And in the background there, they've used this as a stencil to drag paste through to create the background there. Leah Lawson, that's it. Thank you very much. Yes. So I believe this is a Leah Lawson design right here. I love the soft colors. I think it's really pretty. So yeah, really cool. It is Leah. Thank you very much for helping me out with that name. I forgot completely. Well, I didn't forget. It's kind of like what happens to my brain now. Poof, gone. Okay, so those are all great new products from Altenew. Now, let's talk about this One Go thing a little bit deeper. So we have two bundles here that have just arrived. This one is brand new. This one has been released, but they have new plates. So these top plates here are for, oops, let's get rid of my slideshow here. These top plates are for the Better Press. Okay, so if you have the Better Press system, you can use that to stamp these out. And you can also use them to foil. I'm not going to demonstrate foiling today, but I am going to show you how they work when you stamp them out, because it's actually pretty smart. So this one has already been released. Is that the one that I have? Thinking of you. No, it is this one. So we've had this one before. So if you've ordered this type of thing from us before, make sure you check to make sure you don't have this one already. So this is the one that I have, and that's the one I'm going to be demonstrating. You can see my plate's been used. So it's a plate, and it is a one-go plate. So in other words, you stamp all of this, and then you're going to die cut it out with the matching die. So the die is sold separately. And if you've already got the die, you can buy all the sets separately. Okay. So this one here is called Sentiment Strips. Does it have a name? Oh, I see. Sentiment Strips. And then we have Sentiment Strips 2. And then we have Sentiment Strips 3. So now there's 3 different sets. The configuration of the sentiments is the same, and that's why it works good with this plate. So I'm going to demonstrate that in a minute. But the new one that just came out is the sentiment banners. So you can see, rather than just having straight sentiment pieces, like one-line sentiments with straight edges, these ones have different configurations. So you've got a bit of a wave, you've got straight with the fishtail banner, and then you've got a bit of a curve. And that's a nice option to have. And this one is got just some really great sayings on it. There is a stamp set available for this as well. I think there's stamps available for these too, but we didn't bring them in. If you want them, we can bring them in. This one gives you the stamp option. And then this is the die that you use to cut them out. Okay. So whether you stamp them with ink and your MISTI, or whether you do it on your BetterPress or with foil, the die is the same. The process is the same. Again, keep in mind, this die is useful even without these. It allows you to cut out all of these banners, and then you can use them with other one-line sentiments that you might already have. So especially if they're the photopolymer ones, if you have a MISTI, you can angle your stamps, like kind of bend them and move them to go on certain curves. So you can definitely get them to fit these curved banners. So it's a nice die to have on hand, but it does coordinate with these. Okay, so this is the One Go sentiment banners. I'm going to demonstrate quickly the One Go sentiment strips, and I'm going to use my original plate and everything because there's a couple of things I want to show you. They're very innovative. So I dug out my BetterPress. Haven't had it out for a while. This is compatible with the Spellbinders Platinum 6. I believe it's also compatible with Big Shot, but I could be lying. It's been a while since I've used this, so I don't remember. I think it is. I think they did make it compatible, which I thought was very smart. But what I'm going to do is tape a piece of cardstock to the lid. And I thought I had grabbed one, but I lost it already. So I'll grab another one. What did I do with that? Oh, maybe it's over here. Hold, please. No, that's not it. Okay, I'll go grab one. Yes, it is. Okay, thank you. I didn't want to misspeak. I was sure it was. I just, again, my brain is so full of things that sometimes I can't remember all of them. Okay, so here's a piece of cardstock. And what I'm going to do is tape it to the lid within the A2 frame. It doesn't have to be an exact A2 size piece. It's not a big deal. I'm not making a background or anything. I'm going to be cutting out these sentiments, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm just going to tape this on the lid. And then we're going to put the plate within the A2 frame that is on there. Again, if it shifts a little bit, not a big deal, because when I put this on top, see, it's going to cover that plate. As long as it covers the plate, I'm good. Okay, so when I did it the first time, I used pink ink to cover my plate. And you'll notice that my background of my paper is pink and my words are all white. Because if you look closely at this plate, see how all the words are indented? So they're debossed into your plate. So no ink is going to get on those. Ink is only going to go on the whole plate, which makes it really cool because it gives you the illusion of the fact that I either stamped in white ink or I heat embossed it in white, something to give you that white look. Now, I'm always looking for that, and I don't love pulling out my heat embossing all the time to get that, and stamping in just plain white ink never works out good. But this is so cool. So I stamped in pink ink. This time I'm going to stamp in black ink. Or do you want me to pick a different color? If you want me to pick a different color, I'm happy to do that. But Whatever color ink you choose with this is what your paper is going to turn into, and your words are going to stay white. So I'll just wait a second. If anybody wants to suggest a color, I'm happy to do that. Because we don't always want black sentiments. Sometimes we like to have colored ones, but I love that you have this option. You can pick whatever color you want and the words stay white. So I'll just wait. Everyone's shy. No one wants to suggest anything. Or do you want me to do black? Teal. Okay. So, funny story. I was going to pick teal, and then I thought, oh, that's just too predictable. So I'm going to do it. Teal it is. Okay. So here we're going to go with Cookie Monster. Okay. And I'm not even using Better Press ink. I'm just going to use whatever. Oh, purple would have been nice too. Red. Okay. Red. So I like red, and I almost thought I should do red, but these sentiments, if this had been a Christmas plate, I totally would have done red or green. But these are sort of generic sentiments. So I'm going to go with something that's not red, but, you do not have to use Better Press ink. Better Press ink works really nice. I mean, I don't want to discourage you from using Better Press ink because it is very nice, but you don't have to use it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to add some teal ink all over this plaid, and I'm just rubbing my ink pad in circular motions, and I'm going to make sure that I get all of the plate inked up really good, because if you miss any, it's not going to stamp well. So I'm just turning this around here so I can get it the other way. So you definitely want to make sure you get good coverage with your ink all the way out to the edges. But you'll see, and I'll hold it up really fast before I run it through, that no ink is going down on the words. Okay, so you can see no ink is in the words, but my plate is all teal. So I'm going to pop this on. Now I'm going to run this through my Platinum 6, which I have just off to the side here. And I'm going to go through slowly because you want to really push that ink into your paper. I don't recommend going back and forth too much, because if that plate shifts at all, then you could get like a blurred stamp. And as I say that, I just ran it through backwards. So hopefully mine doesn't do that. Just bring this back over here. So I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to reveal. Now, mine might look a little bit blotchy right now just because the ink is very wet and it takes a minute to dry and level out. But look at that. Isn't that cool? So all the words are white and my background is now teal. Now, the next step is to go ahead and cut it out. And you might think, oh my God, how am I going to get the die lined up perfectly on the edges and have no white showing? And well, they thought of everything. So this is another thing I really love about this. Okay, let me see. Do you recommend ink with fabric linen pads only? I worried that the pads would tear and trip. Okay, so that's a good question. So I am using a linen pad, and when I say rub it on there, I'm not rubbing hard. I'm just gently like moving it around. I think if you use the pads like exclusively and just rubbed and rubbed and rubbed and rubbed all the time, sure, it might. But if you're gentle with it and you just make sure that you've re-inked your pads, because that is also key. If you're not re-inking your pads and they're kind of dry, it means you have to rub harder to get the ink to transfer. So give your pads a drink by using the re-inkers. No, I don't find that it's hard on them at all, especially the linen ones. If you're using the sponge pads, a couple of things. First of all, they tend to be juicier. So you have more of a chance of the ink running into those white areas because they're so saturated. Plus, they're a real spongy pad. So when you push down, they might go down into the wells. Whereas the linen pad is like a hard pad and it's much easier to move around. Ink cubes work really nicely with the Better Press plates because they're smaller and you can manipulate them a little bit. Sometimes working with a large pad is a little trickier, but I find when you're doing a whole surface like this, I like the pad. The Better Press inks are nice. They're also a linen pad, and they're a bit bigger than an ink cube, but they're not quite as big as an ink pad. So they're a very nice size as well. But depending on how you approach it, I think you're safe. Just don't be aggressive with it. But anyways, this is the plate drying and looking great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to place it over top. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to push again this Empress machine because I have to die cut it out, right? So I'm going to get my pads over here. I am going to put my paper down here. Now I'm going to put it on just a bit of an angle so that I'm not running my die straight through the machine. This way the rollers are going to hit like the corner and work their way on rather than, you know, hitting on like this. Trust me, it helps. So cutting blade down, I'm going to place this on here. What I have to worry about is getting all of my words. Do you see how like magnetic this is? I'm just going to hold this. Like I cannot get this to move. You're going to see when I'm moving it around that I have to really move it. Okay, I see a question. I'll get to you. So what you're going to want to do is make sure you line up the words within the openings. Don't worry about the edge of your blue. Okay, so I'm going to pull this down a little bit just so I can make sure that I've got it straight, but it's going to be a little bit of shifting and I really have to like lift it and move it to get it to, okay, I think that's pretty good. So it is on there. It is not moving. I'm not going to tape this, nothing, and I'm going to run it through my machine. Okay, Kathy, what are you saying? I may have missed this, but what type of paper did you use? Oh, you can use any kind of paper you want. I'm not using the cotton paper that you can get with the Better Press because I'm not really looking for a debossed look or anything. I've just got, this is my 80-pound Neenah white cardstock, like whatever I normally ink and stamp on. Like it doesn't require anything special. I'm going to put this plate on. I'm going to turn on my Empress. I'm going to start the rollers and I'm going to run this through. Now, watch what I'm going to show you. Can you hear it? No? That's because it's so quiet. Okay, so I ran it through. I'm going to pick this up. It's cut all the way through there. I'm going to peel this off and I'm going to show you something. So, look at this piece up close. So where it cut is inside of the inked area because it's not going all the way to the outside edge. And look how perfect all of these little die cuts are. So let's get my plates out of the way here so I can show you. So again, you don't have to line that plate up perfect. I mean, you want to line it up perfect so your sentiments are in the right place, like which you can see through the window, but you're not cutting right to the edge. So the ink bleeds further. I'm looking for my tweezers. The ink bleeds further than the actual die cut area. So you just pop these out and literally they look like I stamped them in white ink or I heat emboss them. And it's so easy. And the great thing is you get a bunch of them. I'm just going to pull this up here so you can see. There's my thinking of you. Isn't that great? Like, I'm just so impressed with this. So it looks like I stamped white ink on blue paper. And that's not at all what I did. You saw me do it. So now I have all of these really cool sentiments. And I can just do this in a bunch of different colors of ink, stash them away. And then when I'm ready to sit down and make a card, I can just go to my stash, pull out my sentiments and say, oh, this matches. That's perfect. I'm going to use that. So there we go. 2 passes and I get all those sentiments and different colors. So I really love this one go option. I remember when I showed it when we first got it in, I was pretty impressed with it. But I'll be honest. Oh, here's the piece of paper I was looking for. I haven't had it out in a while. So now to clean this off, this plate, I mean, I do have some staining on here, so it's not perfect. I'm going to just grab one of my little magnets here and I can lift this off. So this is just going to pick that up because the plate can be kind of inky. So you don't want to get it all over your hands. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my alcohol spray and I'm just going to spray that. Just let it sit for a second or two. And then the ink is just going to kind of bleed out of there. And then you just wipe it off. Now, this is just so that you could go and use like another color right away. If you want to give it a good clean, take it out to your sink with warm soapy water and just, use a soft brush and just scrub it and you're going to be good. But you will get some staining on your plate depending on what colors. If you pull out red ink, you're definitely going to get some staining. But that doesn't affect the quality of the plate at all. So alcohol dries really fast. So once that's dry, I can go ahead and I can just start with another color. So you can do several panels very quickly. And the same process you would do foiling. So when you're foiling this, your words are going to stay white, and then the background is going to be whatever color foil you use. So if you use yellow foil or green foil or rainbow foil, the background of your stamped images or foiled images will be this, like all that blue would be foil instead. So it's like reverse foiling. It's really cool. So that's that. What do you guys think? Pretty good? I really like those sets, and I like the effect that you get with them. It's different than just stamping. It gives you that solid with the white. And yeah, and again, Marlene says it's amazing that I don't have to tape anything down. No, you will never have to use tape on this, ever, ever, ever. Like, it's incredibly strong. Okay, so that's that. That's all the Altenew. Now we're going to move on to Pink & Main. That's the only demo I'm going to do. So these, this is really cool. We were just talking about foiling. So these are pre-tonered sentiments, and they're all cut out. So if you have a Mink or a Fuse machine, and you use the toner foil, so you run it through in the carrier sheet, and then it comes out foiled the other side. Anywhere there's black printing on these, you're going to get foil. But they're already die cut, and they're already printed. So super cool. And if you don't want to foil, you're just looking for black and white sentiments, you can use them as they are, which is also really cool. So this one is called Everyday Sentiments. So these sell really well every time we bring them in. This one is, this is the Many Sentiment Strips. So look at all the sentiment strips you get in this package. There's tons of them. 120 pieces to be exact. Black and white. So if you want to foil, anywhere that you see black is where the foil is going to sit. Okay. So you've got some that are going to have a foiled background with white letters, and then you're going to have some that are going to have a white background with foiled letters. And you've got different ends on them, like some are round, some have the fishtail, and some are straight. So lots of options. This one are the birthday sentiments. Look how much fun those are. Just as they are, or if you want to foil them, you can. I really love those. And then these are holiday. Oops, this one's upside down. They printed their sheet backwards, but anyways, it doesn't matter. But these are all holiday ones. Yes, we're talking about holidays already. Yuck. When I get to the holidays, I'm fine. But talking about it in the beginning of July, I'm like, ugh. But yep, there's holiday ones. So grab them while you can. They're very cool. We've also got a new embossing folder from them. It's called Vintage Script. This is not 3D. It's just 2D. But look at it does a nice script background, which would be beautiful for holiday cards. It would be beautiful for all kinds of things. We have nice script stamps that we like to use, or well, I like to use, and I keep showing you all the time. But this is a really nice script embossing folder, so that is really fun. So that is new from Pink & Main. And then we restocked their powder tool. So, oh, where is it? It's tucked in here. So we have the Tailored Expressions powder tool. This is the Pink & Main version. The little powder containers down on the bottom there, you just fill it up. It works almost exactly the same way. It's pink though. So we've sold out of these a couple of times, but we restocked those. So that's available again. Another big restock on these brushes. The 1-inch brushes are from Pink Fresh, along with their other sizes. So when I say 1-inch brushes, that's these ones here. We always do our backgrounds with them. But they go out of stock sometimes, and then we have to wait. But I was able to put in a big order, so we are well stocked with these right now. So if you've been waiting to grab them, now is the time. But that is those amazing 1-inch brushes. And then their other brushes are great too. They're just smaller, more detailed brushes. These ones are, I think, the 1/2-inch ones. There's a set of 6. And then these ones would be like the 1/4-inch ones. So more for detail blending. So those are all available again. And then the other thing we restocked are the large storage pouches. We always had the dividers in stock, but we ran out of pouches, but the pouches are back. So if you were waiting for those, they are available as well. Awesome, awesome for storing scrap paper. I'll just grab my scrap paper really fast in case you've never heard me talk about them. I also use them to store my sentiments that I've die cut out already. But here is my paper scraps. And I love this container. Ever since I did this, I don't even mind die cutting. But that is my scrap cardstock. So if I want green, I can just pull out the green. Oops, I'm getting more than one here. The green folder. In here, I have a lot of green cardstock scraps. They're all labeled with the little dividers. And then it's just super easy to have this on my desk to do my die cutting and whatever. So I love it. It's awesome. And that's what I'm using. So that is back in stock too. All right. Next up, we have a couple more things. We restocked the glaze and glue from Spellbinders. A customer requested this, and man, was it ever popular. So we got a bunch in, and then we sold it all. So then it was out of stock, and now we have it back in. So this is a water-based resin adhesive that also adds gloss and dimension to all of your paper crafting and mixed media projects. So nice 2-ounce bottle there. And then we also have the splatter effects in Raven and in Sparkle back in stock. These are very popular as well. This is like a nail brush, like a nail polish brush inside here. And you can splatter black or you can splatter this shimmer sparkle. I'm going to just shake this up and see if I can get it to show. I don't know. You're just seeing bubbles now. But it's all shimmery. Oh, there you can see it. See? So if you want to splatter some shimmer on stuff or brush it onto something, you can do that. And then I restocked some rub-ons, guys. Let me tell you that there's a bunch of new rub-ons coming this holiday season from Spellbinders. I've already ordered a whack of them. But I brought in the older ones too. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to get these. So if you need more or if you haven't got them yet, make sure you do. I pulled out some samples that Christina made. They're not the same rub-ons as what I'm showing you right now, but it gives you the idea. So all of the imagery that you're seeing on these samples are rub-ons. So you could take this snowman and put it here and just pretend that's what we're doing. Okay. So on here, you get 2 6x8 sheets and they're all holiday imagery. And then you also get rub-ons for greetings, but there's actually 2 sheets in there. So this is the other one. So you get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 big images and then all the sentiments. And just to quickly show you some, oh yeah. And then I also restocked this. This is the postage stamp emboss and cut frame. And look at this. You can put rub-ons in the middle. You could put anything you want in the middle, but it gives you that cut and emboss kind of look. It's really cool. And I mean, I can't tell you how many of these we've sold. It's crazy. But here's another card using a rub-on. And here is this frame. Again, this is the arched one. It's the sweetest little thing. You can put anything in it. And here you can just, use ovals for your rub-ons instead, or, your bracket shapes. You can just really have a lot of fun with them. Oh, the frames are amazing. And you get like an arched one, and then you also get like a rectangle one. And you can make it so the middle pops out, which is what they did here. And then the middle popped up, or you can leave it within and you just get that embossed look. So really cool options. I love them. So we've got this one. We've got this one. And there's a lot of really cute ones on here. Like these tiny ones would fit on the little postage collage stamps. Oh my God, so many things. And then great greetings. And then all of these fit perfectly on these frames. And then we brought in the Halloween ones as well. And there's 2 sheets of Halloween. Again, if you're not big Halloween people and you don't want to invest in stamps and dies and all that, the rub-ons are great. You can make a few cards and it's like one and done. These ones are sentiments. They're white sentiments. I'm going to hold it up. So again, you can get that white printing look on any color of cardstock. So you can use black as your base, teal or pink or whatever you want, and then rub this on and it looks like you've heat embossed it or stamped it in white. So these are just everyday sentiments. So miss you, thank you, hey you, hello, happy birthday, hi friend, all that kind of stuff. You get 2 sheets. And then these are background rub-ons. So I'm going to show you some images in a slideshow shortly where we're using these. But you can cut sections of these and rub them on rather than like stamping. So those are fun too. So love all of those options. And then just a couple basics that we restocked as well. The deckled rectangles from Spellbinders. So they give you that nice sort of frayed edge. This is a restock as well. It's the color block accent arches. So you need the basic arches, which was out of stock, but is now back in stock. It's coming on our next order. They pair up with those and it gives you this nice edge on it. And they are using these in a lot of their Christmas samples that are coming up. And then this is the stripe right. So you get the die that does the different widths of paper strips. So you can do some great techniques with those. So those are all restocked. And then I have some things to show you with this. So let's pull up our slideshow. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So this is an embossing folder and a stencil. So here's your embossing folder. It's called Cascading Dots. So if you'll notice at the top, the dots are thick and then they cascade down to really thin and sort of almost fade right out at the bottom. Now this is a 5.5 by 8.5 embossing folder. So you can place your paper anywhere on the folder. Let me just grab a piece of paper because I found that other one, which I probably lost already. But let me just show you. So with this, oh, here it is. Okay, so with this embossing folder, you can take this piece of paper. This is an A2 card front. You can position it anywhere within the folder that you want, okay? Or you can put two panels side by side this way. So you can have small dots on one, larger dots on the other one. You can move it down here so you have mostly small dots. You can keep it close to the top so you have mostly big dots. So these kinds of folders are very flexible. And I love that they're oversized. So they give you options. So if you're doing larger cards or whatever, it's really, really cool. So that is the embossing folder. And then there is a stencil called the Layered Cascading Dots. So in reality, or in theory, you could stencil a panel, tuck it into the embossing folder and line it up, and then your dots would be popped up too. So you can use them together, but they can be used totally separate as well. Anna, she's complaining. She says, so many great products. My wallet has started to cry. I'm sorry. But yes, so those are two new products from Simon Hurley under the Spellbinders umbrella. So here's just a sample. You can see the background, how they've embossed and just ink blended over top of it. So they didn't use the stencil. They just ink blended their background and then embossed the dots. And you can see how they're bigger at the top, smaller at the bottom. And then here is another example closer up, but these are actually popped up. So they've used the stencil and the embossing folder together. So you can see that they're thicker at the top, smaller at the bottom, and they are raised, which means that they stenciled their panel with the dots and then they slipped it into the embossing folder and embossed it. And it gives you that dimensional look, which is awesome. You'll also notice on these samples, these beautiful flowers, which you can see right here. I love these. This is the Wild Coneflowers die. So there's the die. You get those beautiful stems. Now, the nice thing about the stems is you can trim them down. So if you want them longer, you leave them nice and long, or you can shorten them up. You can just use the blooms on their own too. So that's really cool. And this type of flower, you can stencil them to be any color you want. So here they've got beautiful yellows. And on this one, they've kept the petals white and just done a little bit of inking in the middle, which I really like. So love that. And then you'll also notice this big and bold sentiments. So the word hello that is showing on here is done with this. So you get that front die that you can do in any color, and then the shadow die. But it's a nice fine script. So it's very elegant. So I really like it. It's big enough that you can use it on your A2 size cards, and it takes up a nice amount of space, but it's not screaming at you because it's not a thick font. It's just a nice soft one. They used it on here. This one does not have the shadow. So really pretty. And then I love this set. So this is, well, it's a suite of products, really. We'll get them all out here. So the top one is organic shapes. And you can see in the background of the card on the right-hand side that they've just created a collage of all of these different shapes for their background. And then they layered on the die cut word thanks, and then probably a one-line sentiment from here. So you're not really working with an image per se. You can kind of create your own. And they're just really pretty textures that you can apply to your background. And you can use whatever colors of ink you want. That's where those palette playbooks are really helpful. I'm just going to grab a couple of them here so I can show you. Ugh. They are from Tailored Expressions, and we've been talking about them quite a bit lately. And they're really good for helping you pick colors. Oops, I got to slide this over a bit. So they're all based around Tailored Expressions inks. So in this case, Royal Icing is an ink color. And I'll just grab it here because I can show you. Here's the ink pad. So this is Royal Icing. It shows you where in their lineup of colors it fits, what other colors go with it. But then it also gives you color combinations that work nicely with that. And it is a good resource where you say, okay, I want to use this, but the next question that pops into your head is, what colors do I use? And you look at your ink pads and you've got, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 ink pads. And you're like, oh my God. Where do I start? What colors do I pick? You look at this and you go, oh, I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do this combination, or I'm going to do this combination, or I'm going to do this combination. And then on every one of these cards on the back, which I'm not going to show you, there are 5 more combinations of color using, in this case, blue cheese. And in each combination, there are 5 colors. So you can use all 5. You can use 3 of them. You can use 2 of them. You can use 4 of them, whatever you want to do. So the possibilities are endless, and they have done all the work for you. I guarantee you guys, if you pick these cards up, you will never look back. Like, I don't even know how I ever chose colors before. So they work really nicely with a set like this. You've got these beautiful stamps. It's like, okay, what colors do I use? Well, go to your palette playbooks, pick up some colors, and you're on your way. So that's that. Then they have a beautiful die set called Sweet Blooms. And again, it's just a beautiful die with these lovely flowers, leaves, and stems. And then you get the centers and everything. But there's also the word thanks, and you get the word thanks and the shadow. So you can use it with or without the shadow. And as you can see, it looks amazing when you cut it out. And then they have a stamp and die set that stamps out all of these words. Thanks, friend, hello, B-day, happy, sweet. I don't know what Mondo is. And then congrats. But then they have all these one-line sentiments that go with that. Dies for the large words. And they have sentiment dies or strips for the one-line words. So I'm just going to flip to the next slide. So here's that thanks die. That's this one here without the shadow because the letters are individual. And that is this petal die. And do you see the script in the background? That's that rub-on sheet I was showing you that had the text on it. That's what that is. So it's kind of a cool effect. And then here we have these words. This is stamped out. So they've used the word congrats. And then they've used a one-line sentiment that goes with that. And then I'm not sure where the petals came with for that. It might be from these, although it doesn't. Oh, it does. Yep, it does work with these. So those beautiful petals are in the background there. So really pretty. I like adding a playbook on every order. Good idea. Okay, so that's the end of the slides. And then the last thing here, which I did not get any slides for this time. This one is a frame. So it's a floral frame die. So you get that outside floral frame. And then you get all these little floral pieces on the inside that you can create flowers with. Okay. And then you can layer them on the frame or use them separately, but it does give you that beautiful floral frame. And then this is a coordinating stencil that you can layer on top of this and color. So it's all done up and it does that beautiful flower frame. So again, you can just stencil, you can just die cut, or you can work with them together. Really cool. It says adjective for enormous, or, oh, is that what it is? I was just like, what is Mondo? But anyway, so that is all of that. Okay, and then just one more thing. I'm going to get rid of my slideshow because I don't need that anymore, and you can see the full screen because we're going to do a draw, guys. So don't go away. Remove. Okay, so then we have a new set of Better Press inks. So we were talking about the Better Press. Now these are very soft colors. So we've got rose, vanilla, pistache, and I don't even know what that says. But that's like a light blue, a light green, a light peach, and a light pink. Now, Spellbinders has already warned us that customers are going to say the ink pad's dry. I'm not getting very much color. They are very light colors. We did get in reinkers for this right away, but it's a very subtle effect and they're beautiful. So there's those. And then this is a new embossing folder. This one is called Ribbons and Seams. I'm just going to hold it up so you can see that beautiful detail. Now I did emboss it out so you could see. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh. I love the irregularity of it. I think it's really cool. So that is also new from Spellbinders. Okay, I think I talked about all the things that I have on my cart. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask me? Oh, and since we were talking about palette playbooks, I'm going to just mention there are two new ones, guys. This is instead of focusing on a color of ink, they focused on a theme. So they did birthday boy and they did birthday girl. And so what they did was they gave you some imagery ideas for birthday cards. And then they also, you guys are so knowledgeable. So whatever that word is French for sky. Well, who knew? They give you color combinations. And again, on the back are 5 more color combinations with 5 colors in each combo that work well for birthday boy. And then same thing for birthday girl. So these are new. If you have not picked them up, they are available as well. I'll re-talk about those in another video. But okay, that's it for me. Now, we are going to do a draw. It's going to be the kind of draw that you have to buy stuff. So if you place an order between 4 o'clock, which is when this started. Oh, Natalie, I'll address that too. We started at 4 o'clock. So if you place an order from 4 o'clock today until, let's think. I'm leaving tonight for the weekend and I'm trying to think when I'm going to have time. Okay, we'll say noon tomorrow. Okay, so that gives people time to browse the website. If they watch this on replay, like when they get home from work or whatever, you still have time to shop. So 4 o'clock today till noon tomorrow, I will post a random winner on our Facebook page using the Wheel of Names. So to qualify, you have to spend a minimum of $25. It can be on anything. Stuff I showed, anything else you want to buy. Also, in the comments of your order, you must put live stream, something to indicate that you watched the live. If you don't put that in the comments, you don't get entered into the draw. If you don't spend $25, you don't get entered in the draw. And then you have to be within those time frames. So 4 o'clock today till noon tomorrow. I will post it sometime tomorrow. I'm just not 100% sure what time yet. So just keep an eye on social media. And what are you going to win? You're going to win a $15 gift card. So what you're going to do when you see your name that you won, I want you to email us. I will put the email in the post so that you know. And let us know that you've seen that and that you are collecting your gift card. And then I will email you the particulars for the gift card. And then you can go ahead and use it to shop. So that's how that's going to work. Any questions? Kathy has one. She wants to know, do you have, oh no, that's not a different question. Natalie had one. Are you affected by all the distributor fire in Michigan? Everyone is affected by that. Thankfully, we order direct with a lot of companies already. And we have a wonderful system in place for orders coming across the border. So we may be a little less affected than some other stores. The one thing that is going to be tricky is some products are pretty exclusive to Notions for reordering. So we might find that there are some things out of stock for a little bit until we kind of resource areas for that. But for the most part, it'll be business as usual for us. So we're pretty good. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. I'm not going to do a big post and all that stuff. We're doing pretty well. So we're okay. Do you happen to have samples of the inks on papers? I do not. I have not opened up those inks. I have so much ink personally. I'm not sure that I'm going to open this for my personal stash. And once I open it, I can't sell it. So I do not have samples. If you go online and kind of look this up, I'm sure you'll see some samples done with these inks. But they are a very, very soft and elegant look. So unfortunately, they are going to, not unfortunately, what am I saying? Unfortunately, I was reading Natalie's comment about notions. That is unfortunate. This is not unfortunate. They are a very light colored ink. So you're not going to get bold designs with them. It is a very soft and subtle ink tone, but they are beautiful. You can tell even by the packaging. The colors are very light and really soft. So I think they're going to be great for a lot of things. Okay, that's it for me. I've kept you long enough. It's an hour and 20 minutes, which is a little longer than I like, but happy shopping. Good luck in the draw, and we will all chat again soon.